program will hopefully take 10 or 15 minutes, okay? It's not this one. But like I said, it'll take 10 or 15 minutes. And, you know, maybe it'll be a little longer. I don't know. But when we get done, I'm going to go over Chapter 6. After we get done with Chapter 6, again, the rest of the period will be lab, all right? So I would, just like you, I'm opening up a new Android project. I'm going to put it into Rankin, and I'm going to put it onto my desktop. And I've got one called Currency Converter. I started that, but I didn't finish it. So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to... What was that? Okay, that wasn't what I wanted. Let me do this. That's fine. Get rid of this. Close. Okay. All right. So again, just like I told you, I'm going to call it Currency Converter. All right. And since I might already have one, if you called yours Converter, I think that's what I told you to call it. So Converter, that's fine. All right. Is everybody cool with this screen right here? You all get what that is? All right. So I'm just going to click Finish. I just wanted an empty activity, so I just took all the default stuff. There is a bunch of stuff that runs in the background. If you look over here, it'll say build. Sometimes it'll say Gradle build. There are a lot of things that you can do here to change some of your settings and your run stuff, etc. I've just never investigated any of that stuff. I mean, you want to look at it, cool. I'm probably not going to be able to give you any kind of help whatsoever on anything like that. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is this. I've already got a couple, but just so you know, I don't need that. I don't need that. That. There's your homework. That. All right. So I'm going to come in here, and just like I told you to do, I'm going to go out to Google Images, and under Google Images, I'm going to key in Currency Converter. All right? And that one doesn't look bad. I think I may have used that one before, so I'm going to go way down to the bottom. So I've got one I know I haven't used. That one looks pretty good. You can use any one you want. You don't have to use the one I'm going to show you. All right, but this is 400 by 300. Probably will scale pretty nice. So I'm just going to right mouse click. It's about halfway down on the left. And I'm going to save the image. And I'm going to save this as just currency.jpg. All right, I'm saving it to my desktop. You can save it any flippin' place you want to. It really and truly doesn't matter, just so you know. All right? Now, if you look up on the screen, please, okay, with my project back up, I'm going to make this a little smaller on the screen. We may have talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again anyway. That is, if you look at what's in here, you want to open up your res folder. All right? And you can see what's in drawable right now. That's your launcher background and foreground. That's that picture of the little green logo. We're going to talk about how to change that later too. Because you don't, if you're going to go and put up your own app, you don't want that. That just would look really unprofessional. All right. Now, I just saved currency. There it is. You see it. All right. I just saved that. And I think it'll work because I've tried this a couple ways. If I just right mouse click on it, choose copy. All right. Then right mouse click on my drawable folder and choose paste. Now you should get something that looks like this. All right. Just say OK. And you should get this. And it says, hey, I'm about to go put this thing called currency in your drawable folder. Is that OK? That's what we want. OK. So I'm just going to say OK. And then you should notice if you look here, there it is. Now, I don't want to go into this right now, but just so you know, quite often what people do when they create their own apps, like you will be doing for your final project, people will have 4 directories in here. One that's called XHDPI, one that's called HDPI, one that's called like MDPI, and one that's called LDPI. And that's for extra high density pixel, whatever it is. Then there's high, then there's medium, and then there's low. I might have it wrong, but it's something like that. The higher it is, the better the quality. Does that make sense? All right. And as you'd guess, if I'm going to write something and I'm going to make it display, for example, on an iPad, not a mini, not a phone, but an iPad, I probably want to have a little bit better quality for the image than I want on a phone. Does that make sense? So you might go and make copies of this, and have it saved in different sizes or whatever. We'll get to that, just not right now. All right, so we've got that in there. All right, everybody's here, right? We're going to do this one a little bit differently, not because we have to, just because we can do it a little bit differently. That's all. All right? And that is, we're going to come in, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write our button routine. Okay? So I'm going to go right under here where it's got the public class, main, etc. See that? And I'm going to write a routine for a button that doesn't even exist yet, which is totally fine. So I'm going to come in here and just say public void convert to pounds. Yeah, we're going to use British pounds because it's an easy one to use. All right? So convert to pounds. All right? So the first thing we're going to want to do, and you don't have to do this. I've shown you the log statement. You don't have to do this, but I think it's never a bad idea once you've got your interface built to just run the program and put a simple log in there just to make sure everything's working. All right? So I'm going to do that right now. Again, we don't have to do that, but I'm going to put in here log.i. It'll be an information log. And I'm just going to say info. And when I click it, the message I want in there is going to be program working. You can put in anything in the world you want to put in. And it's log.i. That's why it's red, not IT. All right? Remember, if you get a message, if it comes up red here, typically you can take your mouse, put it on where you're getting the error, and do an Alt-Enter, and it should add that for you. But if you look on the screen, this was now added for me, this line. Import android.util.log. All right? So what I'm going to want to do, I'm going to very, very quickly, because I don't want to waste any more of your time than I have to. All right? And that is, this is what our screen is going to look like in just a minute. We're going to have a title at the top that'll say currency converter. Then afterwards, we're going to take that picture we have and put it like about in there. We might have a little bit of space. All right, then we're going to put a text view here that says something like enter amount in US dollars. Something like that. I don't know what. You put in whatever you want. Then in here, we're going to have an edit text. Okay, that's where you put in the amount. So we'll put that in. Underneath that, we'll have a button that'll just say something like convert. That button is the code we're writing right now. Does that make sense? All right. And then we'll take our answer. You can put it here as a toast. You can add a text view. It doesn't really matter. You can space this out the way you want. What my hope is in a few minutes you can all get this to work, because this is one of the ones I'm going to want you to modify for your homework. All right? Because what we're doing now is actually, it's pretty simple. All right? Here's a question for you. You should actually know this by now. If I put in here, let's just say $23.12. Right now, once I put that $23.12 inside of that edit text, what kind of variable is that? What? No. Yes. Basically, it's a string. And actually, technically, it's not a true string. It's an edit text that we can run the toString method on. Does that make sense? All right. So I'm going to put some code in here, and it may look like, well, you put a lot of code in there. Maybe. But I'm going to show you a way to do this. I'm not saying it's the only way to do it. I'm not even going to say it's the best way to do it. But it is a way of doing it. All right? So I'm going to come in here, and again, you know, when we come up here, probably I should have built my interface first, because I'm going to get a bunch of errors, because I'm going to be referencing stuff that doesn't exist yet. But that's still okay. All right? I know that, and I can live with that. So I'm going to come in here. I just did the log. So I'm going to say in here, edit text. And I'm going to call this thing in here, edit text US dollars. And again, you're going to change this program, so if you don't like the variable names, use whatever you want. It really and truly, in the end, won't matter a bit. All right? So I'm going to say that that's equal to, remember, we have to cast that as an edit text. All right? And then we're going to say find view by ID, r.id dot, and this is what it's going to be called once we create it. I don't know how I did that, but that's what I wanted to say. Now, does everybody in this room understand why I'm getting this in red and why that's an error right now? Do you all get that? All right, because it hasn't been written yet, so I'm referencing something that's non-existent. That error is screwing it up here too. It'll all be fixed. Literally, it'll all be fixed in just a couple minutes.
You deleted
Okay, all right. But that, all right. So that's, you can see why that's wrong. It'll be fixed literally in just a minute. Okay, so what I want to do now is I'm going to want to take that variable, that edit text in US dollars, and I'm going to want to literally take it and convert it to a string. Okay, so I'm going to come here, and the next line is going to be string, and I'm just going to call this, I don't know, amount dollars. You can call it whatever you want, and I'm going to say that it's equal to this edit text. All right, boy, oh boy, that edit text dot get text dot to string. So I'm grabbing whatever is in there and I'm converting it into a string. Does that make sense to everybody? All right. Now, what I want to do, is I want to be able to take that amount, that thing right there, all right, and I want to make a variable out of it. So I could say double. I'll just call it now dollar. How about US dollar amount? Again, you can call it whatever you want. All right, and that's going to be equal to double. Double dot parse double amount dollars. Does all that make sense? All right, I've got everything I need now for the dollar side, but if I'm going to convert this to pounds, I'm going to need stuff for pounds. Does that make sense? All right. So I'm going to put some pounds stuff in here. All right. And what I'm going to want to do, so that amount that I just put in is my dollars. All right. So what I want to do, let's see, if I probably should go out onto the internet, exchange rate, US dollar to British pound. All right. And it says $1 is equal to about 3/4 of a pound. Does that make sense? All right. So when I do this, I'm going to want to come in here and create another double, and that will be, let's just call it Brit pound amount, and that's going to be equal to my US dollar amount times 0.76. Does all that make sense? So if I put in $1, I should be getting 76. All right, as an example. All right, am I missing anything in my notes here? No. All right. Now I'm going to want to put this in a toast or in a text view or someplace. So now I want to take it and I want to convert it back again. So I'm going to say this amount pounds. And I'm going to set that equal to string.format %.2f and that will be my British pound amount. All right. So now when you look at this, if you look up on the screen here, what I'm going to have is I now have a string that holds my dollar amount and a double with the actual value in it, a double with the actual pound amount in it, and a string that holds that pound amount. Does all that make sense? So I'm just going to throw this thing into a toast. All right? So toast dot make text this let's see. There's other ways of doing it that are probably better than what I'm showing you right now, but this should work. US dollar amount plus in pounds. Now I would probably take the time to go out and search for a pound symbol. Did you all hear that? All right, I just didn't. So is Brit pound amount we don't even have. I'm just showing you a way of doing it. So if you go, why didn't you do this? Why did? Because I didn't. Maybe that's a dumb thing to say, but because I didn't. Again, instead of using US dollar amount right there, I probably would have been better off using amount dollars, wouldn't I? Because that's already a string. All right. I probably could change that to amount dollars. I don't know. I wrote it one way. Now I'm trying to show it to you another way. So, all right. And then this would be what? Amount pounds. All right. I'm not done yet. So I've got all that. Toast. I'm running out of room, so I'm going to move this over. Toast dot length long dot show. And it doesn't like a big O there, so. All right, and I didn't spell length right. All right. So the only error that I'm getting right now is in this. So I have to make sure that for my edit text, I have to make sure that I call it edit text US dollars. Once I do that, this error will go away. Does all that make sense? All right. Again, this should work as far as I can tell. If it doesn't, we'll debug it. We'll get it to work. All right. Taking longer than I thought, but I just wanted, we're building something as a class, and to my knowledge, everybody's getting it. That's important to me, even if it takes a few more minutes. Does everybody have the code? All right. You got it all? All right. So I'm going to switch back then to this picture right here. All right. First thing I'm going to do, I could keep that, but I'm just going to get rid of it. So I'm going to come in here, blow it up a little bit. So, all right. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I like to do this. You don't have to. But I'm going to go over to text view. I'm going to just put a text view up near the top here. All right. And just to show what the program is. So with that text view right there, I'm going to take it, and eventually I'm going to go pin it this way. Then I'm going to pin it this way. All right. So it's pretty much centered now. If I didn't show you this before, and guess what? I didn't. I want this to just say currency converter. You all with me? So where it says text right now, I'm going to just get rid of that, and I'm going to click the three dots that are right here. You probably figured this out yourselves, but in case you didn't, please look on the screen. I'm going to click the three dots, the ellipsis right here by text. All right, that brings this up. Everybody get that? So go way over to the right under Add New Resource and click this down arrow right here, and it'll say New String Value. All right, so click right there, and it'll bring up this box. I'm just going to call this thing Title. It's fine. And I'm going to put in here Currency Converter. So the resource value is what's actually going to appear on the screen. Title is going to be the name of the attribute that goes in my strings.xml file. Does that make sense to everyone? All right, so I'm going to click OK. And it's there. Well, it was there. All right, sure looks ugly. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. I'm going to say, okay, what if anything happened? Okay, so I'm clicking on here. I want to make sure my text is there. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I don't know. All right, but wow, it's just looking really weird. Okay, that looks cool. Wow, that just is weird. Weird stuff's happening. I'm going to go back and change it again. All right, so don't know what happened there, but something looks like it did. I've got converter, so now I don't need that. I can just double click on that. All right, now it says converter. It looks like it's there now. All right, I probably should go change my ID to text view title. All right, just something fairly reminiscent. And you see now under text, if you look up on the screen, you see how it says @string there? I want all yours to say that. Now, if you go, well, if Tony says I turned mine in, I didn't do that, then from now on, I want all yours to say that. All right? And you know how to do it. You've seen me do it. So now I'm going to go down here, and I'm going to find my text size. There it is. I'm going to make it about 24 point. All right? And again, it still looks funky to me. I don't know what's going on. But for whatever reason, it's just acting weird. Maybe it's me. I don't know. You can see it there. But for some reason, it's not expanding this stuff automatically for me as it usually does. I have no idea as to why. All right. All right. It says converter there. Should be saying currency converter, but I'm going to go back and double check that anyway. So I've got my text size. That's good. Have you noticed, look up on the screen, that when you start changing attributes, it moves them up? That's kind of a neat thing. So if you screw something up like I maybe just did, all right, you can fix them. So I'm going to go back up here, title, currency converter. Should be correct. There it is.
It said app_.
Okay. All right. So, not great. It's pretty much centered, right? It's not too bad. So the next thing I want us to do, now, you maybe noticed this, maybe you didn't, but I just want to bring stuff up when I think about it. If you look up on the screen, please, you can see there's an image view there, right? Now, you may not have that. I'm going to pretend I don't have it. And I don't know where image views live. You can always click the search bar up here and just type in image view. You see how it brings it out? I mean, that's something that may become helpful to you if you forget where a certain control is. So I'm going to grab the image view, and I'm going to put it someplace up in here. All right? Now, this comes up, and my hope is that's what came up on yours. All right? Yes? No? All right. I'm going to go to, now I got to remember how to do it. Okay, click on where it says project, and the first one I've got underneath there is currency. So I'm going to click on that. There's the picture. And I'm going to click OK. Boom. Now we just put that in. Now I lost my title, so I got to drag that down. And now I can go and I can do all my good stuff to anchor it, etc. All right? Just so you know, if you look up on the screen, please. All right? If I click on this, it gives me over here all the stuff. Okay? And I don't remember where it is right now, but one of the things under the image allows you to go stretch it and do whatever you want to do with it. Are you with me? So you can go and look at that stuff yourselves. That's not really that important right now. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this, and as we've been doing, I'm going to pin it here. I'm going to pin it here. and I'm going to pin it here. And it says, do you want to pin it to the top or to the bottom? Virtually 100 times out of 100, you're going to want to pin it to the bottom. If you pin it to the top, you're going to cover up what was there. So I'm going to say to the bottom. Okay, it's close, but it's not bad. I could drag it down if I wanted to, correct? All right, but I'm looking at the interface that we had up there. So I've got currency converter, and I've got my image view. All right, so next I'm going to come in, and I'm going to find a text view. So again, I'm going to search in my palette here for a text view. All right, I'm going to grab one of those, and I'm going to drag it in here. All right. And again, just pin it. You can pin it later. You can pin it now. It really and truly doesn't matter. So I grabbed a text view and pinned that in there. Again, I don't want the text view text, so I'm going to come in here and what did we say? Enter amount in US dollars. So I'm again going to come in and add a new resource. And you can call this, you should call it something that makes sense to you. So I'm going to call this input US dollars. If you don't like that, call it whatever you want. Don't put special symbols in it. Don't put blank spaces in it, etc. You can see I'm using camel case here. So again, I'm going to put that in. Enter amount in US dollars. Okay, and click OK. And it is in there, but it's pretty small. So I'm again going to go down to my text and find the text size and make it a little bigger. So I'm going to make it 18. Again, this isn't perfect, but it's getting there and it doesn't look bad. Two things, please look up on the screen. Notice that right now for the title, it's giving me an error, a red, because I haven't anchored this to the top. See that? So I'm going to do that right now. Just pull it up a little bit so it's at the top. Okay, that looks okay. All right. Then I'm going to grab this one I just created, and I'm going to anchor this to the bottom of here. Whoop, didn't quite take. To the bottom right there. All right, yeah, I want to pin it to the bottom. And if I wanted to, I could move it up or down a little bit. That's not bad where it is right now. Again, it's not perfect, but it's not bad. So right now when you look in here, okay, I put the title. I put an image view in. I really should probably change the name of that to like image view currency converter or something like that. All right, and look what it says. It says, hey, you put in other stuff since then. They're asking if I want to refactor my code. So what that says is any place in here that happens to access this, do you want to change the name, including that Java R file? Yes, I do. So I click yes. All right, so now that's changed. The other thing is this text view. No, I don't like it called text view 2 or whatever it is. I'm just going to call this text view input US dollar AMT. Not a great name, but it works. All right. I still have one warning there. I don't care about it. It says I'm missing a content description. That's getting in and being very intricate with this stuff. I'm cool with the way it is. All right. So now I'm going to come up here and whoops, sorry. And again, okay, I lost my file. How do I get this back? I lost my XML and my other file. How do I get it back? In fact, I go out to res. Actually, I go out in here, and I go to layout and just double click on that. There it is. All right. Why am I showing you that? I did it accidentally, but you'll probably do it at one time or another. All right. So I'm going to go up here again. All right. And in here, I'm going to go and search, and now I want to find an edit text. All right. Okay, and it says what kind you want. A plain text should be okay. Again, you might have to jack around with this a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to move that. I'm going to move that. Come on. So now it's centered. I don't like the fact that it has name in it. I don't like that, so I'm going to get rid of it. I don't want any text. But I will put a hint in it. So I'm going to go down to hint. Again, click my ellipsis over here. Again, click my add new resource. New string value. And I'm just going to call this, I don't know. This is so simple, this app, because there's so few controls in it, that I'm going to call this edit text, whatever we call it, US dollar amount hint. Again, if you don't like that, if that's too big, don't call it that. All right, and right there, I'll just say enter US dollar amount here. Again, if you don't like that, just come up with your own. It's not that big a thing. Now, look on the screen, please. Here's my edit text. This is the one we have to call it edit text US dollars. All right? Because that's the code we put in. So I'm going to go with this edit text. I'm going to go back up to the top, and under my ID, I'm going to change that to edit text US dollars. Now it's in there, and what I should notice when I jump back, notice how my error message is gone from here. All right? All right. So, again, it's getting there. It sure as heck isn't perfect. When I run it, it may not look that good. I don't know yet. All right? So, what do I got left? Well, I've got here enter US dollars. Yeah, that's fine. I want to put in a button. But before I do, it's read by edit text dollars. It says it's not constrained vertically. So, I'm going to click and move this up. All right, now it is. But remember, I can drag it down a little bit even after I constrain it vertically. So now I have 2 warnings, but that's it. All right, this is down a little too far. That looks pretty good right there. All right. Again, I can change it at any time if I want to. So now I want to go over to buttons, and I want to add a button. So I'm going to bring out a button right here. Might as well do what I can to center it right away. That's not bad. I'm going to drag it. In fact, let's do this first. This is going to be our button convert. So I'm going to call it button convert. All right. And for the text for it, we don't want it to say button, of course. We want it to say convert. So again, I'm going to add a new resource, and I'll call it, you can call it button convert. I'm just going to call it convert, because that's what it is. So now that's changed. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take this and attach that, take this and attach that, take this and move that up to here. All right. And right now, pretty much I think the interface is done. I don't know if the whole program's done. I don't have a clue as to whether or not this is going to work. That's why I really would have been better off first. Look on the screen, please. Building the interface, and then just putting in this log to make sure it worked, and it looked okay. I didn't do that, but I really probably should have. All right, so I'm going to do a file, and I'm going to do a save all, and then I'm going to try to run it. So run app. I put in a new, I had so many virtual devices, I got rid of all of them and just put in a Pixel XL. All right. So I'm going to run this, see what it looks like. I kind of like the way that phone looks too. To me, that Pixel XL kind of looks 3D. All right, a little bit at least. Whereas a lot of the ones that are out there are older phones. You know, like this piece of garbage that I have. You know, the newest Galaxy is an S9. This is an S5. You know, and my kids are like, why don't you buy something new? I said, when it doesn't work anymore, I'll buy something new. They go, and every time there's, you know, they've had like 3 or 4 iPhones each while I've had this. And they're like, yeah, but mine's new. And I said, yeah. And you know what? I haven't paid a frickin' cent for mine. And they paid like over $1,000 for theirs. So whatever. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, we're going to get an error, I think, or else it's not going to work right. But we'll see. So I'm going to come in here and say 100. All right, so I'm going to click, whoops, I'm going to click right here. And I really should have made that a numeric. Everybody see that? I didn't, but I should have made that a numeric. So I'm going to go to number over here. So that's 100. All right? And I'm going to click convert. Not showing me a toast. That's not a good thought or a good idea. But the good news is when you look, it does look like the interface is sure is not terrible, is it? You know, considering we spent 10 minutes on it. All right. So that means, what does that mean? It means it's probably time to go back and look at the program. All right. So I'm going to take that, just leave it up there. I just like to drag it down here, and I'm going to start looking at the program now. All right. Oh, I know what it is, and all of you should. That's correct. We didn't put in our on-click. So go back to your activity main file right here and do a single click on your button. Go down halfway or so and find on-click. Click there. Click the down arrow. And it says none, which that's not a good thing. Why isn't it showing my routine?
You never called the routine did we? Created it?
We created it right here, the convert to pounds.
Oh, was it called? You need to create a button.
Yeah, I created a button.
No, it didn't matter.
And you don't have to do that. That's what I was trying to show you. Yeah, you don't even have to do that. All right. All right. Well, I'll have to spend a minute or two trying to figure out why this doesn't work. So I'll tell you what. It's 1:20. Let's take a quick break. All right. Come back at 1:30. When you come back at 1:30, I'm going to go over Chapter 6. After we go over Chapter 6, we'll take another break. And during that second break, I'm going to go and I'm going to look at the homework assignment for you. And if it's cool, I'm going to run off copies for each and every one of you. And we'll go over what I'm looking for and what I want you to do. All right? So let's see. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, let's just look real quick. See this? If you're working with a button like this, you have to say view, and I didn't. And it really should be view V or whatever. So that's the only change I made, is I came up here and put that in. All right, do another file, save all, and I'm going to try to do another run. Same emulator, bring that up. All right, come back into here. Again, I want to change the type. I should have done that, but I didn't. I'm going to make that 100. All right, click convert. Still doesn't like something. All right, take your break. I'm going to look at it while we're at the break. All right. So first, probably not. No. There it is. Convert to pounds. But while we're doing this, why don't I come in and click on the edit and go up to input type. And what do I want to change it to? Anybody? Some kind of a number field, right? All right. I can what?
Like if you go on the tag, like the text field, like I'm not designing the text. Like the bottom, where it says input from modes, design text at the bottom. You know, like design view, text view.
Down here.
Yeah. Text.
Yeah, you can go in there and do it in text.
Yeah, I'm just saying, well,
you can write it in the XML if you want to do that. Yeah. But most people, when they come in, they like to come up here and find input type and just choose number. And if you do that, make sure when you put in number, uncheck the ones that say person. All right. So again, one more, file, save all. One more, run app, run it. That 100 seems to be a bad amount because it doesn't work ever. So I'm going to click in here. Now I've got my numeric. How about 235.94? All right. Click that to make it go away. Click convert. There it is. See that? Even with all my screw-ups that I always give you, we still did it in about a half an hour. My question for you is this. You're all smart people. That's not a question. But look on the screen if you would, please. Okay? First of all, I think I lost my period that I put in there, but that's okay. So let's just put in a period. All right.
It doesn't let us.
Oh, because it's number. It should have been number decimal. All right, that's fine. But the point is, when I tell it to actually go and perform, and I click convert, you see the toast? Am I right in assuming that all of you could go out and find the symbol for pounds or euros or whatever? You can all do that. You all know how to find the rates for those. What I'm hoping we can do by the end of the semester, okay, I should probably stop taping.